Hi there, I'm Matt Sargent with ABC Acres. Today we're out in our tree belts harvesting Aronia berries, also known as chokeberry. These beautiful little blueberries. I bet you didn't know Aronia berry is considered to be the most powerful superfruit out there. It's super fruity. Yeah. I say superfruit, not necessarily superfood. There's probably a vegetable that's, a little more potent than it. Maybe, maybe not. But Aronia berry has one of the highest amount, actually the highest amount in fruits of agents that fight free radicals. The highest fruit out there. It is kind of tasty. It's definitely an acquired taste. A little tart to start, but once you've had a few, you can't stop. Anyways, today we're going to be out here. I'm going to try and pick a few berries while talking to you, but I know you're all here to see my pretty face, so if I get too absorbed into the bushes, you're not going to see me. But we're going to talk about the health benefits of Aronia, how to propagate it, and where it would fit in your permaculture system. So first and foremost, as far as health benefits, I mentioned that it had a lot of, what's the proper term? Agents that fight free radicals. And the term is escaping me right now, but that means that it helps prevent cancer and helps prevent oxidative stress-related injuries. So it's going to help keep you younger, more vibrant. It has a lot of benefits to the cardiovascular system. It keeps your vessels more elastic, which helps prevent coronary disease, helps purify the blood. One of the biggest health benefits out there for people who suffer from these issues is it's also 10 times more effective at preventing and treating urinary tract infections than cranberries. So if that's an issue for you, go on and whip yourself up some Aronia berry juice, and you're going to nip that problem right in the bud. If you're worried about it being an issue, just jump on this train right now. Don't want anyone to have to suffer through that. It's also super high in beta carotene, so it's great for your vision, just like carrots, but it looks a lot cooler. Yeah, so those are some of the health benefits, and that's kind of what brings it into how does it fit in your permaculture system. Well, part of being a good permie is we're trying to grow food, fiber, fuel, and medicine. Well, it's a berry, so it's a food, but it's also what many would consider a nutraceutical. It's medicinal. Historically, people have used the leaves as a tea. It does seem like to help with some of the circulatory issues. It does seem like more of this evidence lately is saying that all the magic in these berries is, it's obviously in the berries if I said it's in the berries, but it's more so in the berries than in the trees. But then as far as designing it into your system, in our tree belts, we have it on the southernmost row of our 4 rows in the tree belts because it's more of a shrub than a tree. So it's going to be a low ground cover / canopy. And yeah, so if you think of your 7 layers of a food forest, 8 if you count your mushrooms, this is your shrub layer. So it's going to be underneath your lower canopy trees and providing some shade. And I'm sure the berries would be loved by chickens and turkeys, small poultry. As far as propagating Aronia berry, any way that you can propagate a plant, you can propagate Aronia. First and foremost, take a fruit, dry it out, make sure it's completely dry. You can plant the seeds. The seeds do need to be cold stratified, so it's recommended to either plant the dry seeds in the fall and let nature do its thing over the course of winter, or if you have a patient significant other who doesn't mind you using some of the refrigerator space, you can cold stratify it in some moist peat moss for 3 months in the refrigerator and that'll break down the outer barrier of the seed and allow it to germinate in the spring as temperatures rise. But I don't know what your living situation is like. I know in my case, if I wanted to propagate it from seed, I'm a lot better off just putting the seeds where I want the Aronia late September, October, and letting nature take its course. And so if you propagate by seed, you could get, who knows, it's going to be an Aronia berry, but you're not going to get the exact same plant as the parent. If you want a genetic copy of this plant, you have 3 other ways that you can propagate it. You can take softwood cuttings. I'm going to take one right now, even though it's the wrong time of year, just to show you what you do. But you take softwood cuttings in late May, early June. You take your softwood, your fresh growth, strip all the lower leaves off. And then it helps if you can lightly scarify where the nodes were. That'll help with root formation. Then you're going to dip this in some willow rooting hormone tea. Check out our video on that. I'll link to it here shortly, probably right now. So you'll dip this in your willow rooting hormone, and then you're going to want to put it in moist peat and keep it moist and out of direct sunlight. And it should root and become a beautiful new Aronia berry bush. Another way to propagate this amazing plant is to take hardwood cuttings, pieces of wood that are 3 years or older. Do very much the same process as a softwood cutting. I'm not going to demonstrate that because, well, I don't want to hurt this beautiful girl right now. Not that it hurts them. Pruning is good for plants in the long run, but it's not the right time of the year to do so. The other way you can propagate this plant is by digging it up and dividing it. With 3-year-old plants, you can get anywhere from 10 to 25 divisions. And when I look around at this one, it looks like you could probably get 15 divisions from this plant. And so basically you're going to dig up the root ball and then start separating this branch from this branch from this branch, and they'll all have their own little root systems, and you might have to cut a root or two here or there, but then plant it into some good healthy soil and you'll end up with plenty of Aronia berry. Some of the most common ways Aronia berry is used is you can eat it raw, like I said. It's just a little tart. Most people aren't going to dig that. I'm kind of weird, in case you hadn't noticed. So it's most commonly used in pies, jellies, jams, and in winemaking. I have aspirations to hopefully try and make some mead with it. I think that will be delicious. And it's always nice to be able to tell the missus that your mead is medicinal and therefore you should be able to drink 2 glasses. Yeah, that's kind of how it's traditionally used. As far as preserving it, if you don't want to make a jam or a jelly, you can either freeze the berries or you can dry them. Or you could make a whole bunch of juice and freeze the juice, and then you have Aronia popsicles. That actually sounds delicious. Maybe mix in just a slightly sweeter fruit and you might be on to something really good there. But so basically there's ways to get plenty of Aronia via the propagation methods I discussed, where it fits into your permaculture design, how it's beneficial to you and those you love. And one last bit to remember, I'm not done harvesting, but when we're going to make sure we leave maybe 10 to 30% of this, because it's not permaculture if you're not following the 3 ethics. And the 3rd ethic is return of the surplus. So, we don't want to take more than we need. We want to leave some for our environmental allies, the birds, the bees, etc. With that said, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions or comments, we always love to hear from you. And until next week, happy growing.